Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Robbie from Believe in the Run.
And this is Megan with Believe in the Run.
No, Robbie was from Believe in the Run. He's not with Believe in the Run.
Do I usually say with?
I think he's a with.
I always forget what I'm supposed to say there.
Yeah, with, but it's all right. We'll continue with the show. If you're tuning in for the first time, you know this is the place for nonsense and run adjacent conversations. But I mean, we're supposed to be talking about running, but we get off tangent every once in a while, just like this intro. So know that you're here for the running podcast. You're probably excited about the guest we have on, but we'll get rolling. So why don't we start with you, Robbie?
Well, we should start out. Hold on. No. We should start out with the Run Show USA, right, Meg?
Yes. So we want to remind everyone about the Run Show USA, which is taking place in Chicago this June 4th and 5th.
It's like an expo for running without having to do the running.
Basically, that's exactly it. So there's going to be like inspirational speakers. They're going to have a bunch of gear and
like who are some of the
shoes
speakers? We know Dylan Bowman.
Is Dylan Bowman going to be there?
I believe.
I can't remember. Oh, yeah. Sally McRae.
Yeah. So Carl Lewis, Dean Karnassus, Sally McRae, Fitz Kohler, who's actually we had on the podcast recently. Her episode will be coming out soon. And obviously Sally, we just had on the podcast.
Sally was awesome.
One of our most listened to podcasts.
I gotta say, she was
recent past.
Such a fun person to have on.
That was one of my favorites.
I listened to that one because I obviously wasn't in the interview. You guys did it, and I was like, man, I want to go back and talk to her now.
I know,
she was
right?
awesome.
I feel like that when you guys talk about Nico.
Yeah.
That I was like, dang, I missed out because we'll be honest. Like sometimes, guys, we're just tired. Like some of these interviews actually. They can really like just take the energy out of you because you spend so much time trying to listen and talk to these individuals that are inspiring that sometimes you're like, I can't bring my A game. So one of us will, step out or whatever, or one of us will want to be like, I really want to talk to that person. So we'll sit somebody out. And we listen to it later and we're like, oh, I wish I could have been on that one.
Yeah. Anyway, so the Run Show.
Yeah. So back real quick to sponsor of this episode, the Run Show. So just, to remind you guys, it's basically like Tom said, it's an expo without the running event.
And we can get you free tickets.
Free FRRE.
Wait a sec.
FRRE.
This is Robbie's favorite thing in the world. Like he probably, even if he wasn't into running and somebody's like, I got free tickets to this Run Show. And he's like, well, I play golf. But yeah, I'll go.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like you're losing money if you don't go.
So go to runshowusa.com. Use the code BELIEVE to get your free tickets.
Speaking of which, yesterday we were walking down the street, Robbie, and we're on Boylston, and there's a quarter on the ground. And I almost walked back with my iPhone just to film me walking past the quarter.
You walked past the quarter on the ground? Are you a psycho?
Wait, and not pick it up just to send it to you.
He did because he made a point to tell me about it.
I was like, I wanted to go walk back.
That's ignorant, dude.
It was so shiny too. It was a pretty
really?
one.
It wasn't one of those ones that got ran over by a Mack truck 35 times?
No, but that's a weird thing is like, who's carrying quarters?
People that find the quarters and then lose them again.
Yeah. It's just, they're just recycled.
And like, how do you do it in the middle of the sidewalk? Like, were you digging for something in your pocket?
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, I know that Robbie loves a free quarter, and
true.
I just wanted to film it getting left in Boston.
Which, speaking of finding this, if you listen to the podcast, a few weeks ago I revealed that revealed like it was some magic trick of garbage. I found a roll of film, like actual film on my run.
I think it's a canister of film.
Canister, yeah. And I picked it up. Sure enough, there's film in there. I took it to get it to the only place in Baltimore that does film development.
And just to pause, all of us would have walked past this canister. Only Robbie,
again, crazy.
Of all the people, we'll pick up a canister and be like, I don't care if there's stuff that could incriminate me, like murder on this or something like that.
Well, I felt when I took it to get developed, I was like, I like disclaimed it a little bit. I was like, yeah, I found this on the ground. Well, just thought I'd get it developed. Am I good on that? Am I covered?
Is that legal?
And so sure enough, I got the film back, or the digital versions of the film.
Oh, wait, you didn't get prints?
No, because you can get prints, but they just like give you the digital files of them, and then if you want the prints, you can get
I didn't
them.
even know that was a
cool.
thing. Yeah.
So I didn't know that. You can just get the... Yeah, awesome.
So what weird digital prints did you find?
let's see if I can.
You're gonna have to put these on a link so our audience can see them.
Yeah, so it's not that interesting as you can imagine. It was a girl's graduation photos from high school. Like
what year do you know?
Well, it was weird because she was blocking the last number on the like balloons, so it was like 2000 something. I think it was like 2004 maybe.
Okay,
which is weird that they like even then it was film. You know, I guess that was still
was a tapering out.
Phasing out.
You gotta figure like iPods had just come out in early 2000s.
Yeah, so really it was just mostly
iPods 2010.
Wait, maybe I was 2006, so maybe someone I know.
Well, it was from around here.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, well, that'd be weird.
That'd be crazy.
I should show you. I should bring up the pictures then.
Yeah.
Because I don't have them right on hand. Actually, do I?
Would have 2006 Robbie been like, yeah, let's go on a date?
We'll pause the podcast a second and I'll pull them up.
You should put it in the Facebook group in the neighborhood and be like, does anybody know who this person is? It's also weird that they took pictures of graduation and never got them developed.
Okay, so the photos are, do you know this girl, Meg?
No, I'm trying to figure out if I know that school.
I want to see.
No, I have
Are
no idea.
they? Do they look blurry or are they pretty decent quality? You can't.
They're decent quality. There's just a guy sitting in the crowd. Hold on.
I mean,
I'll bring up. So it's just like.
Yeah, I mean, it looks almost like an Instagram photo filter.
Yeah, it is one of those like capsules in time. You can tell it's early 2000s because she has those blonde streaks in her hair.
Oh yeah,
like that's like classic.
That was the rage.
What's my name again?
And then there's actually someone in our neighborhood, so I can probably track this person down. But yeah, so it was I don't know. It was interesting to get them back and have this piece of someone's history.
So if you've listened in the past, you now have full closure on Robbie's photo canister photos.
Oh yeah, you gotta share them into the neighborhood group. Someone knows that person.
Yeah, like
for
neighborhood group.
I don't know what I was
the
saying.
hood of neighbors.
Words.
All right. Anyways, so that was an interesting side tangent. Let's talk about Boston's because that's everyone.
Wait, before we get into Boston, we might as well get it. How's your running going now?
Let's get into Boston. I think I run once in the last week because it's like my schedule's been completely insane and thrown off.
It has been insane. I would say this is what has transpired in the last week between us going to Florida, you going to Boston.
This is the first time I've seen you in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And then I feel like we've seen you, but it's just that it's been on video and stuff.
It's really been like 13 days.
That's crazy.
Not that Robbie's counting.
Yeah. So I guess we should start with your trip up when you went up to see the New Balance, the track.
Yeah, the track, capital letters,
That place was
TRACK.
cool.
Yeah, I mean,
I have to tell you, Robbie, I was feeling some major FOMO when you guys were up there, and I was like, I felt it, but then and I'm jumping ahead here, but when we went up, I was like, I wonder if Robbie's back at home going, "Argh."
Yeah, it's the same. We reversal roles. But so when we were first invited to the track at New Balance, like the opening, I was like, oh yeah, we'll go. Like, I didn't know the extent of which it was like
yeah, we'll go.
I was like, oh, this is like cool. They're opening a thing. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, so we got there on Wednesday, Brandon and I, and so first of all, we did get to, earlier in the day, we checked out E86 2023 stuff, which looks pretty awesome. I gotta say, can't believe how much there's.
Did you see the big stack one?
Yeah. Like how much they're stepping up their game even more because it's been really good. So I'm excited for that. And then we went to the New Balance office as well, which apparently they had just gone back to work like that week. And that place is huge and just got to see some really cool stuff from next year. And it's right across the street from
the track.
The track, right.
The thing that blows me away about that whole thing, there's like a complex and it's all huge. They're not a public company. This is one dude's empire.
Jim Davis, is that correct?
The guy who drew Garfield?
Is that what I'm thinking? Yeah, I was like, he also owns the rights to
That's how New Balance got started.
Cartoon cat.
He drew Garfield.
Is that his name? They're going to hate me if I'm messing this up. So it is Jim Davis. All right. Dude, that will be funny if you pulled a double life as a cartoonist.
Yeah, I love lasagna.
So anyways, Megan's tired.
She did run a marathon.
She's already burned out.
Yeah.
But the opening of the track. We went there. We got like a little tour of the facility beforehand. They have some pretty cool testing labs. One of the things that was my favorite lab or whatever was they have a climate control room with treadmills in it, so they can jack the temperature up to like
that's cool
104. I honestly felt like I was like in a horror movie plot. So I'm like, they're definitely just like putting us all in here and
closing the door,
cranking the temperature up to 200 degrees. And yeah, so they can like lower it to like really cold temps. It was funny because we were in a group with a ton of TikTokers and influencers, and everyone goes in there and like, holy crap, it's so cold. I'm like, dude, this is like perfect running temps. It's like 35 degrees. I was like, and they're freezing their asses off. I'm like, oh, these idiots.
Well, it's hard to do the TikToks when you're...
And I'm the only one that cares that the person's wearing the SC Super Comp trainers on the treadmill.
Yeah.
While all the influencers are like trying their best to pretend they were interested in it, but you could tell they just went to get to the fashion show or whatever.
The TikTokers.
Whatever. It's honestly, I probably posted more content than they did. Well, but they probably have more followers.
Yeah. And you're not influencing a new generation of runners, bud.
Or just an old generation.
Yeah. We're bringing in the people that are still listening to audio shows on the old radio.
Mm-hmm. Coming at you. Anyways, so they had the opening of the track, which was like this huge freaking party. Like,
well, first, before you get into it, let's describe the track a little bit. You got some testing facilities with not just like treadmills to test VO2, but like you said, temperature controlled rooms. They have areas in the lab to test the durability of shoes and that kind of stuff, like mechanical things that like bend a shoe a certain way over and over and over, more so than you would wearing it.
They had like athlete, they had sensors and cameras where they would image the athlete running, and it would like show their bones and everything. It was real spooky stuff. And it seemed cool to me.
Yeah, it is super cool. And the whole facility, it's like a stadium that you would go to see a basketball game in or something like that. Like, it's that nice of a facility with like, there was when we were there.
Did you want to go like try everything yourself and get all the data on yourself? Like, what's my VO2 max?
Oh, that's what I want. I definitely want to trip up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love somebody didn't know my VO2 max.
Just has got to be good.
I don't want to pay to do it though.
No. We'll just go with the New Balance.
I'm a little torn about getting that because, like, what if it's really low and then it's like this is your max. This is all you can do.
You're not getting any better.
Well, one, you can always improve your VO2, and two, Megan, you crush. There's no way you have a low.
I'm just saying hypothetically.
It's not going to happen.
I'm pretty sure my CO2 max is maxed out.
But Robbie, the other thing that I thought,
puffing.
like when we were there, they had food set up, bars set up, just like you would at a vendors at like a baseball game.
Well, and we're not track people, so like we have not been to many track events, but this seemed like a real big production.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So when you were there, there was like models.
Yeah, they had a fashion show, and I felt bad for these models. They had to stand there for an hour.
Yeah, Brandon said it got weird.
I feel bad for these models.
Yeah.
They're really good looking and had to stand
really
around to earn their money.
Dude, standing in one place looking like fish in an aquarium, I don't know about that. I think that's not fun.
I don't know.
Brandon did say it went on a little too long. Like, it was kind of like, okay, we saw them.
I talked to one of the models while we were waiting for our Uber, and she was like, yeah, that was the longest I've ever stood in one spot. So I don't know. Maybe ask Jim Davis about it. But the rest of the event was awesome. It was interesting because it was the opening of a track, but there was nothing that happened on the track except for Jack Harlow performing.
And that blows my mind because we'll get into it in a minute, but Friday when Megan and I got there, we had some fun with the track. You, though, with Jack Harlow, I also thought it was weird because he was playing on the track or in the center track, and the bleachers are not close to it.
Yeah, it was a little distant, and it's probably weird for him because obviously not the same level, but I have played in that kind of setting before where you're away from the crowd, like when I was in a band, and the energy is so bad.
Different, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. It's like when you're in the crowd and you're like right above them and doing the fist pumps and all that stuff, it seems like you get that energy back.
Yeah.
You guys look like you're like, and it's not your fault, but like, I'm sure not everybody who was there was like, oh, this is great, Jack Harlow. And they're standing in the stands, 75 feet away from the guy.
Yeah, it was a little awkward, but I mean,
Did you shout out any requests?
no, I think I was just like drinking beer, and what was I eating? I was eating chicken sandwiches and drinking beer in the stands.
Probably
Not bad.
free beer and free chicken
Obviously.
sandwiches.
Of course.
Right.
There's a whole stack of chicken sandwiches at the end there. I'm
Did
like,
you leave?
someone's got to get.
Yeah, did you leave with a bag of chicken sandwiches?
You know what? That honestly, I don't know why I didn't. In hindsight, it was a terrible decision. But yeah, so it was cool. Gabby Thomas, Sydney McLaughlin, they were there, and just that girl from Euphoria was emceeing the event. Storm Reed, she did a really good job, by the way. I think she's like, anyways, but it was just a lot of fun. Got to talk and hang out with some New Balance people. Randomly met Bill Nye in the hotel when we went back.
Oh, he wasn't part of the event?
No, he was just like hanging out in the lobby of the hotel.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Bill Nye, the hotel lobby guy.
Yeah.
Were you staying at the Lennox?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and so Brandon was like, "Yeah, Bill Nye's down here," and so I came down. I was like, I don't want to, just.
But then
it doesn't mean a ton to me to meet Bill Nye, but I mean, I grew up watching him like every day after school.
I will tell you this: picture with Sydney McLaughlin or Bill Nye. I'll take Bill Nye all day.
Yeah, I mean,
and she's very attractive.
She has 1 million
and
Instagram followers.
Yeah, well, she's not going to post a picture of me with her on her Instagram.
True.
So it's down to my followers again.
Yeah.
How many does Bill Nye have? He's got to have a nice following.
Probably more than that. Yeah. But he was pretty nice, and at the same time, he was kind of like, I'm sure he gets asked all the time, like, take his picture and stuff. Which I wasn't going to ask, but then Brandon was like, can we get a picture with you? I was like, all right.
And you're like, I'm in.
And he's like, yeah, let's go, basically. But I'm like, dude, if you're wearing a bow tie in your full getup in a hotel lobby, you're gotta come in.
You could walk past Bill Nye. If Bill Nye was just in a sweatshirt and like sweatpants, you'd probably be like, that dude looks a lot like Bill Nye, and keep walking.
Yeah. Guess how old he is?
70?
Pretty close. I thought he was older. He's 66.
No, I figured he was around that age.
Okay.
I mean, they had already invented TV.
I think the idea is like when you're a kid and you see someone on
Adults.
TV, you think they're so much older than they really are. When he was probably like 30 years old at the time.
I've also found that even like the 10-year difference. So like actors and stuff that were 10 years older than me. So say I'm 10 and they're 20 in a movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, they're adult. And then as you scale up and those years, the separation between 10 years and your age gets smaller and smaller. Then you're like, oh, Rob Lowe's only like 11 years, 12
It's
years.
like the Sean Connery and Harrison Ford thing.
Yeah.
They're like 10 years apart, but he's his dad and
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Exactly.
Anyways,
Yeah.
that's enough of that, really.
I will tell you, sitting at home watching some of the pictures coming through and some of the stuff going through, definitely had FOMO. I was like, oh, that looks amazing. I'm glad. I don't think we would have gone to the track other than the fact that we found out that Brandon was going to get a chance to do a mile race. So Megan, being the supportive coach to Brandon as she is, she wanted to go check it out, which I was thankful for because that meant I got to go check it out. And
Megan, what was that like?
Watching Brandon?
Yeah, seeing your protege on the track.
Oh, so much fun.
it was emotional.
Like I said, like I've never grew up around the track. So like that environment was totally new. Although I think that environment was new for everyone because it was just insane.
This is how much we haven't grown up around the track. We didn't realize it was a 200-meter track.
Right.
And so we're like, they're going around a lot.
No, here's what happened.
Shouldn't admit that on this podcast.
Is we got there and I was like, they're doing way more than 4 laps. I was like, how long is this race? And then Thomas is like, no, it's a mile. They're doing 4 laps. And then I was like, that guy just did 6 laps.
I love it.
The whole size of a track, though, inside, like you put a track
It
inside.
looks big.
Yeah.
It looked like I wouldn't have been like, oh, that's a tiny track. But it's amazing. And I actually think it seems like people are running faster because they go around
So many times.
so many times.
And what's cool is they had a light on the interior of the track, which would be the pace set for each heat. So like Brandon was
Like if
in
you keep up with that light, you're doing that pace.
a 427 heat. And so that's where the light went around. And he ran a 4:34, so not far behind it.
No, it was pretty sick.
Yeah.
And I have to say, like, I could have been watching my son. Like, it was like I was so invested in his.
Well, and it was like a whole production. Like, they announced his name. They've got like fires shooting up. It's like
fireworks. Yeah. Oh, you weren't there for that. They had like these boxes,
like pyrotechnics.
line. Yeah. So when they run through, like.
Like for every person, like even all the amateurs.
Yeah, they announced. Yeah, it was amazing. And then,
man, I didn't know there were fireworks there. I would definitely have been into that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's good. You got your Joe Dirt costume on. Come down
for real.
But yeah, it was just insane, and he ran so well, and he had to start like way back. So just watching him like catch up to people and pass them, and I got to see some of his strategy. Like he'd pass 3 people at a time, then tuck back in, then pop back out. And he did really well. So
cool.
It was cool. And then they did something that I thought was a special New Balance name at the time. Again, you're not going to want me to admit this, but they're like, we're going to have a DMR. And I was like,
is that a drug?
Well, no, I was like.
They kept saying DMR, and Danny kept saying DMR. And I was like, what is that?
Yeah, we're like, I thought that was like the New Balance DMR. I was like, you guys haven't marketed that well. I only know what
it is because Brandon kept saying it, and then I figured it out.
Distance medley relay.
Yeah, again, things we shouldn't admit, but
there's
hey,
SMRs. Don't know what that one means, but there's a whole bunch of
SMEs.
So anyway, their whole thing.
Those are meals ready to eat.
The whole thing with the opening of this track was that they were going to attempt to break the world record, the DMR world record.
And we thought we were going to get to see
Sydney McLaughlin
run it. Sydney didn't end up running. They got a filler for her. And so they're going after this world record. But what was really kind of cool is, I don't know how we managed it, but Brandon and I were on the inside of the track taking photos and video.
Clearly security was not up to par.
Well, no, I think, it's because we were standing around the right people when we entered, and, we were like, had official looking gear. It wasn't like we're there with our iPhones. We have DSLRs, and we get in there. And if we needed a pass, we could have gotten it from New Balance. Yeah. They'd already approved it. So we were just like, why hassle them? We'll just go in and do it. And so we're getting like a really close
really
look
close
at it. Yeah. At one point, maybe I was a little too close.
Meg, so you know that there's a photo where Thomas is like
freaking out.
El Perrier St. Pierre is coming around the turn, and Thomas is within a foot.
Yeah.
And I was like, literally, I'm talking about it, and my hands are sweating.
Yeah.
Like, it's anxiety through the roof.
Like, I felt the wind come off of her.
Oh my gosh, just stop talking.
I felt her life energy.
I can't do
as she went by me.
I can't do it.
It was insane.
I felt my life energy coming out of me.
So I could have I was probably a little too close. And if I had been any closer, I could have ruined a world record.
All right, we need it for real. I can't even take this.
The great thing was they got the record. And what was
did.
Also insane about it, when the women were doing the run, they were all fast. They were all super fast. But when the one woman came on,
Heather McLean, and then it was Kendall who came and did the 400 and just crushed.
My God, it was like it was like watching those people who fix up Civics and make Civics go really fast with the NOS and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That was
Paul Walker.
That was like the women doing the longer distance. Like they're like, whoa, that's really fast. This was like seeing a Formula One racer hit the track. It was just like by the time, because I'm trying to take pictures, by the time I'm trying to turn to get her on the other side, she's already gone. Yeah. Like it was, I've never seen anything like it. It was probably one of the most beautiful strides I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah.
Just insane. And then when St. Pierre, how many names do we have here?
It's two.
El Perrier
she got married.
Pierre.
El Perrier St. Pierre.
Yeah.
When she was running, she's so strong and graceful. And again, it was just like something amazing to watch. And all of these women did really well. And one of the girls was a teenager.
High schooler.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine just like coming out of high school and being like, yeah, I'm just going to help break this world record real quick.
Well, apparently Sydney McLaughlin, when she was in high school,
broke
the world record.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, anyways, that was awesome.
Yeah.
It was
Are
sick.
we talking about, like, I feel like this is going on a while, and I feel like people want to hear about Meg, but I know you're also doing...
No,
We can do a quick.
I say we do a quick recap. We can also tell them a little bit like what they should prepare for the 5K if they ever run it, because that is not a race you're going to PR unless you're in the very front.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, why don't we hit that first, because it kind of happens chronologically.
So you ran the 5K.
After the track, the next morning is the 5K. And I wish I had gone into it knowing what it was going to be like, because I would have relaxed, had a great night of sleep, woken up, not been stressed out. But I was like, I really want to try to work this 5K. So I was in race mindset,
Thomas had a lot of anxious energy Saturday morning.
So I'm getting there, and they have you line up by pace. And you know me, I'm not going to do a 6-minute 5K flat, 6-minute
pace.
Mile.
Yeah, flat. So I line up at the 6-minute, and I'm a little nervous about being there, because I'm like, honestly, like if I ran a 6:40 to 6:55 pace, that would be optimal for my talent. And so I'm like, I'm a little ahead of myself. I'll just get pulled out and see how long I can hang on until I start falling back. Because in a 5K, it's going to hurt the whole time anyway. Mm-hmm. So the race starts, and I'm like, I'm pretty far back. Wow, a lot of fast people. And there's 30,000 people running this 5K. And 10,000 people. That's less. That's a third less. 2/3 less. 10,000 people running this 5K. It squeezes up, it compresses, and I'm starting to look around at some of the people that are in front of me. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you can't judge a book by the cover. Right. Maybe they're super fast. The gun goes off. Like the first wave went out. I'm not even in the first wave. Our wave kicks up, gun goes off. I think another wave went off, and then like they were kind of like had a string between the different waves, and finally went off. So I'm in a pretty fast wave, and the gun goes off, and I couldn't run. Like it was
just like walking.
Like you like did that stutter step to go run,
yeah.
And kind of by the time we get out, we're starting to jog, but I'm looking, and there's people 4 wide walking.
Okay, in the 6-minute corral.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It's like self-selected corrals, so people just go where they want.
Still,
so I get to I'd say 1.5 miles, and I'm still dodging and weaving walkers.
Oh my gosh.
Like there was the guy that I was standing next to, and he like jumped up on the curb and was running down the side street. There was people like you had to be like on your left. People were walking, and they were deep. And for some reason it was just so crowded, like running around. And so at 1.5 miles I'm in. So these people must've been in those first 2 waves before me.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing this, and I'm just like,
did it ever loosen up?
Well, it never was like loose, but towards the last mile, you could kind of like pick lines and speed up. But I got like, once I was about 1/2 mile in, I was like, okay, just calm down. This isn't going to be a fast day.
Wow.
And then I was like, okay, try to find lines, try to do this, pick it up. But by that turnaround point, I was just like, it is what it is. And I got to wear the SE trainer from New Balance, so that was fun. But I didn't feel like I got to put it to the test.
Right.
And so we came down, and it did kind of open up the last 1/2 mile, and I saw Danny and some of the other New Balance people there. And I didn't see Meg and Brandon, but I ended up like finishing. Meg's like, yeah, you said I looked like I was jogging. I was like, yeah, it was just like, yeah, it was just like, okay, if by chance you wanted to race the Boston 5K and you want to race it,
start at the very front.
Yeah. But
start with the elites.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And I would say I still really enjoyed the race just because you're running through Boston. It's cool.
Yeah,
you're with 10,000 people. It's Boston Marathon weekend. Like, I just wish I had known that that's what it was going to be as I was going to the race. But then after that, I was free for the weekend as far as the only stress I had was being in places I had commitments to.
Yeah.
But like,
otherwise it's party mode.
Pretty much. So Meg was great. Brandon was great. And, we just kind of went to the expo for the rest of the day, and then,
we did our tours of the brands on Newberry Street, hit up the expo. And then we had our bagel shakeout run Sunday morning,
which was insane,
epic.
Robbie. I wish you were there because there was tons of love for Believe in the Run and for all that stuff. We had like 300 people there.
Went through 300 bagels.
Yeah, 300 bagels. Yeah.
Jeez.
Like carafe after carafe of coffee. Yeah. I probably did have too much caffeine that day because I had coffee before the 5K. I had coffee after the 5K. I got to the
and you didn't
brand
shit your
house.
Pants?
No.
Oh.
Impressive. Got coffee there. But I think I got coffee afterwards. But the run was amazing. We had Emma Bates there. We had Lindsay Flanagan. Of course, the E86 team was there. We had Megan Featherston there.
I decided on the route with Frank about 5 minutes before we started, so we may have made a wrong turn and
we just had to do a little out and back.
And would it be a Believe in the Run?
Our 2 to 3 mile shakeout was closer to 4 miles.
Yeah,
but
3.7.
Everyone was real champs about it. No one complained.
It was perfect weather. It was like sunshine, just cold enough for good running, but not like freezing. There was no wind. We came back. People hung out. We talked to a ton of people. A lot of people wanted to ask questions about show and different stuff that we do. And, a lot of people were just interested in talking about, Megan and what the race was going to be like tomorrow, which would have been the Monday.
What tips did you give people, Meg?
Oh, I wasn't giving out tips.
You know who's giving tips? I felt like she was giving out free tips was Lindsay Flanagan got cornered by these women and they were like, okay, now what? And Lindsay's a coach, right?
Yeah, she is.
And yeah, so she's giving like coaching tips.
Nice.
So people coming into the run got free coaching tips from one of the best runners in the world. So
yeah,
it was cool.
And I guess, I guess we're going to talk about your experience, Megan. Full race breakdown on the Fuel for the Soul podcast.
Yeah, so there'll be more details on the Fuel for the Soul podcast,
which is also coming out this same day.
Yeah, so go check that one
out.
Put
the link in the description.
Yeah. Both Megan.
We got your Saturday miles covered if you got long run.
Yeah.
Yeah, both Megan and Megan Featherston, break down our races in a lot of detail. But do you want to just talk about it a little bit on this one? So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think people want to know, especially all the people that follow you here and don't listen to Fuel for the Soul.
Yeah. So race morning, they have this like recommendation of time of when you should get on a bus. And it said recommended, so I kind of took that with like we'll go when we want to go. And it turns out you should follow their instructions.
They've been doing this a while. 126.
Megan and I met up at 6:45. We were supposed to be at the buses before 6:45, so we strolled over there closer to 7. And there was like some logistical errors with the first wave of buses, so they didn't come back in time. So there was like a lot of waiting, which increases, anxiety levels, race
Robbie,
morning, like what's happening.
I was like, I walked with her to the buses. The level of anxiety, you felt certain people just were vibrating like the pre-race jitters. And there's other people that are just as relaxed as like, hey, just a summer trip. But.
Yeah. So Thomas was live recording in the morning and entertaining a lot of us, which was nice. And then, so we finally got on the buses and made our way down. It's an hour-long bus ride.
Oh, really?
I
didn't realize it was that.
Because, you're going 26 miles.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense. Yeah.
So it's a long bus ride, and I thought we were going to have a long time in Athletes Village to, like, hang out or whatever. We did not. We had about 15, 20 minutes before they were then herding us into corrals to then you walk a mile from Athletes Village to the start line.
Whoa.
At this point, because I never asked you this, in the morning, I know you wanted to run a PR, and I know we had talked about sub 250.
Yeah.
In the morning, were you still like, that's my goal? Like, were you locked into that? Like, did you feel confident in the morning, like when we were leaving to go check out the buses, or were you still like, I'll see?
No, I wanted to go for a PR. Like, I wanted to go for a fast time for me. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel when I started running because we were on our feet for so long in the morning. Like I told Megan, I think we probably walked 3 to 4 miles before we started.
But did you do a warm up run, or were you just,
no?
Your walk was your warm up.
Our walk was
and
the
then
warm
trying
up.
to find porta potties.
Yeah, so everywhere in Athletes Village, we went and had a line, and then we'd get in line, and then someone would be like, "Hey, there's no line over here." So then we'd go walk over to this one, and everyone else had done that, and so then we literally did that 3 times.
Never leave the line.
Never actually made it to a porta potty, but we knew that once you started walking down to the start line, that mile-long walk, there was a stopping point with bathrooms there. So we were just banking on those.
There's one thing that I did learn this weekend about bathrooms in the race. If you bring spectators with you to the race, they should not be waiting in lines for the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
Before the race. Like,
oh, no.
Like there was...
Well, in Athletes Village, it's only athletes.
Okay, where I was for the 5K, there was like families in line. I'm like, hey, these are for the athletes. Like maybe you guys wait 10 minutes till the gun goes off and then, use a porta potty.
But anyway, so we made it. It was very last minute. And then I feel like finally when we were down there, and that's where there was like a spot so we wore different shoes. We carried our race shoes. We had like throwaway clothes on. So like this is the point where you...
What were the different... You threw the shoes away too? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had like an old pair of Hokas.
Gotcha.
From like 6 years ago.
From like 2 months ago. They were the Kiwanis.
No, they were very old. And because we weren't sure how muddy...
Excellent condition though.
How like muddy Athletes Village was going to be. And I just didn't want to be walking around in my Alpha Flies for literally 4 miles before the event. So anyway... laced them up, and then finally got into our starting corral. I magically ran into this guy who I had met at the Cherry Blossom, and we had very similar goals, and we're going to run together.
That's
like
the chances of that.
Like
Dude,
insane.
it was insane how many people we ran into. When they were waiting in line, I ran into like all these people. This one guy that I saw at Cherry Blossom, I saw him at the B&A half marathon, AJ. And then like we ran into Jess at the beginning of the race.
Yeah.
Like, thousands and thousands.
It is pretty wild. But yeah, so found him. We got to the start. The anthem went off. The planes flew over. Like just super epic, exciting. And I didn't like really hear the gun, but then all of a sudden we just all started moving forward. And it's like so packed that you can't really see in front of you, but you know that there's like a steep downhill. So you're just like sort of walking, jogging, and then all of a sudden you see like the start. And then it was just like, okay, go. And so I like click my watch, but there's like nowhere to go.
And like think about it this way, Rob. Like normally you have a race.
Like it's the same as like Thomas's situation.
That exactly.
Oh. Yeah, but there had 30,000 people. I don't know how many people were in your corral, but it's on a 2-lane like back road. It's not like
it is wild.
And so
there's like no way to get around anyone. And so I was in my mind, I'm like, well, the first mile is going to be slow. It's fine. It is what it is. And then like mile 2 is approaching and it is like packed the whole way. And I was at that point, that was the first time where I was like, well, today won't be a PR day because I just can't. I can't get around it.
I love how everything in Boston is like old and made for dwarves. It's like like Fenway Park. Here's a seat that fits small toddlers, and let's all sit in them. And then here's a road that's 10 feet wide.
Yeah. All right, Meg. So you're running down. You finally decide it's time to weave in and out.
Well, yeah. So the guy I was running with, Chapin, took the lead on that one and sort of we just weaved. And so that's basically what we were doing for like several miles. And we were chatting about the pro field, and then all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see him just like, it's just like, I thought maybe he fell in a pothole or something. It was like a sudden, like something bad happened.
How far in was this?
This is around mile 7.
Okay.
So you're still going downhill.
Oh, wow.
And then he just grabbed his leg and said something about his meniscus and then just pulled off to the side and was like, you got this, you go. And I was like, damn it. There goes my guy.
But because we have really good fans.
Yeah, literally within 5 seconds, a guy popped up right next to me and was like, hey, what happened? And I was like, I have no idea. So he said something about his meniscus. And we started talking, and he's a huge fan of Believe in the Run, listens to the podcast every week, was going for a 2:45, but was like starting out conservative until heartbreak. So we agreed to run together for a while. Super nice guy. It was his first Boston, so he was like asking me about the hills, and I was like, I don't really remember.
It's like giving birth.
And yeah, so we ran together for a while. He took off around mile 19, which he thought was Heartbreak Hill, which was not Heartbreak Hill. It was the one before it.
It was.
That is Heartbreak Hill.
But he had a great day, so it was fine. But at one point he had like turned around because I was like slowly going up the hills, and I was like, no, you go.
So, question: is Heartbreak Hill actually compared? Is it actually that bad?
No, the actual Heartbreak Hill.
Yeah.
No, it's 100 yards or something.
So, like, what's it
it's not-
comparable to around here? I know nobody else knows this, but just from my own.
I don't.
Is it like the Patterson Park Hill?
I guess, yeah, but like shorter.
All right, so yeah, not terrible.
Wait, so it's shorter than like if you're going up the outside?
Yeah.
Oh wow. But here's the thing, Robbie. It's coming after.
No,
It's
I
at
get,
mile 21.
I get it.
No, but there's other hills in front of it, so it's like the last
okay.
one.
And here's the thing about the Newton Hills is like mentally I was preparing for them all day, and then it just got to a point though where I was like, is this Heartbreak Hill? No. Is this Heartbreak? And then I just wanted to be so done with the hills that I didn't even realize we were on Heartbreak Hill, but I looked up and there was like this giant banner that said, congratulations, you like finished the Newton Hills and Heartbreak. And I was like, oh, okay. And then after that, it's basically 6 miles down to the finish.
And you said it was really loud when you went through.
Oh, the Wellesley Scream Tunnel?
Yeah.
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 I had to ask about that.
Yeah. It was funny because Nick, who I was running with at the time, like, remember how I told you could hear it before you get there?
Yeah.
Like, you could hear it before you got there.
Does it
was
ever
like
feel
this
like you're reaching the
hum.
finish line though? Like, yay, we're done.
No, because there's crowds the whole time, but we knew what we were coming up to. And then all of a sudden it's like, it goes from a hum to just like screaming.
Sick.
And I mean, like you couldn't even talk to each other. Like, it's just like so loud.
Did he pull over?
No.
No.
But he was like doing like the hype stuff. And,
Robbie's
like,
pulling over.
high-fiving people. Yeah, that part was really, really fun.
That's cool. How long is that section?
It felt very long. Like, I
Wow.
want to say like it was half a mile long.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's insane.
Yeah, and then
So I'm tracking.
There's probably some dudes losing like 15 minutes of time out there.
Yeah. I'm tracking
Some creepers.
the whole time. And, I'm kind of talking to Danny's there and Nick Klistava, actually. I got him into the New Balance thing, so he's there. And they're both like, well, Meg's doing well, but, the hills are coming. And I'm like, you guys don't.
You don't know Meg.
Exactly. That's what I was like. I was
She
like,
eats hills for breakfast.
well, I was just like, this girl's tough. Like, I don't think she doesn't know that there's hills coming. She'll be all right.
well, and so one of the first things I said to Thomas afterwards. So after I got over Heartbreak Hill, I was like, okay, just cruise it in. Like I wasn't like I was uncomfortable, but I felt like I could hold it.
How
hold
far was
pace.
the Lennox from the finish line? You think maybe a 1/10 of a mile?
Yeah.
So I'm at a 1/10 of a mile with New Balance. They hooked up a really nice spot. So I am like on the course. Like most people, like they have to like fight through 14, 15 people deep crowd to get to the front gate.
Yeah,
We're right there. We're on it. We got we ran into this guy, Weston, who's Jeff Galloway's son. Gives us a bandstand or grandstand pass. So I give that to Brandon because he's got the cameras, and I'm like, yeah, get good pictures, which he did. He took some amazing shots. So, but I'm standing there really close to the course. And I'm like, well, if Megan comes down, like if Megan comes down close to the side, I'll be like, I'll be able to smack her. If she's further away, she'll still be able to hear me because like I'm there.
Yeah.
And you knew kind of where I was going to be, right?
Yeah.
All right. So she's running down. I'm getting a little nervous. Just always when the time you see the clock and the clock isn't matching her time and the predictor is saying, okay, she's predicted for the 2:48. And then I see, like, I just know your stride. So I see, that coming through. And
Chicken arms.
The chicken arms and the ponytail swinging, swish, swash, swish, swash. I'm like, there's my girl. So I start screaming. And Meg, like, smooth as like a fighter pilot going by, just like gives me a.
Oh, you saw?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
I heard it was like that was the talk about Wellesley Scream Tunnel.
The Thomas Scream Tunnel.
No, but like the finish line screaming
yeah.
is just wild. But like Thomas's voice was piercing through.
Nice. He was hoarse this morning, I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
I still, my throat still hurts.
And I looked over and I saw his GoPro in his hand, like
Insta
sticking out,
360.
or Insta 360. And I was like, there he is.
And she gets a little smile on her face, gives me a point like she's at a rock concert, like if you were the lead singer of a band. Like, yeah, see, yay! And, she's coming.
I know her.
Yeah,
I know her.
that's my wife. That's my wife. She's running through, and you just look so smooth, and like it didn't even look like the day had damaged you at all.
Well, it's funny because I started to get that like uncomfortable twinging in your legs where you're like, these cramps are coming. It's just a matter of time. But I have been there so many times where I knew, like, I found like that line where I know not to cross it. And there was a few times where I was like feeling kind of good and the crowds were like really getting me going, and I would try to pick up the pace, and then it would be like, no,
that's the worst.
you cannot do that. And so I was just like, okay, just hold steady. And I never looked at my watch, so I didn't know if I was running a PR, a 3-hour marathon.
Oh, you didn't?
I had no idea.
Really?
No idea.
Hell yeah.
But I was, because in my
That's pretty
mind,
awesome.
I was like, this is as fast as I can go. It doesn't matter what my watch says. Like, this is as fast as I can go right now. And so I got to the finish line and I saw the clock and it said 2:50. And I was like, I know I have 2 minutes.
Oh, sick.
And so when I stopped my watch, I looked down and it said 2:48:34. And I was like,
Which is insane because your official time was
it's the exact same.
2:48.
2:48:34.
Yeah.
and you came in 18th over? No, that I'm thinking. What was it?
I was
61st.
60th. Yeah.
But of Americans, do we know?
I don't know. I don't know how to figure that out.
But 60th in a world major
Hey, I
with
thought-
30,000 people.
Not to yeah, it's insane. I thought you were 60th too, and then but on the thing it said 61st. Did you notice that?
Oh,
Did it update?
it's changed a couple times.
Oh,
So
okay.
it could be 61.
Oh, okay.
At one point I was 58, but now I think
So
I'm 61.
I thought it was 60th, and then I
Yeah.
somebody I went back and yeah. But 43rd or 43rd American. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it's top 50 American.
Out of 30,000 runners.
Insane.
Like, it just blows my mind.
There's like
do you
40,
realize
there's like 40 kids in my kid's kindergarten class. That's insane. That's
Megan ran
like
her-
of that many people.
in the first time that she ran Boston, she ran a 3:19. So not only, I mean, what is that as far as math real quick?
32 minutes or 31
Yeah.
minutes.
Oh my God.
Well, one of my goals was because I saw that we have a poster from the first Boston, and I was like, how cool would it be if I ran 30 minutes faster than the last time I did it? There you
Mission
go.
accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, it was just sick, Robbie. Like, talk about emotional. So, and Megan came back. We obviously put a quick post race interview on
I was like
Instagram.
delirious.
Yeah, it was
I
the
love
best.
So good.
Yeah, it was, that race is special. And the thing I took away from it was that, like, Robbie, we should run it.
Yeah, no, trust me. Like the whole
Yeah.
vibe of being there, even beforehand, it's like the build up and then seeing everyone. It's like it definitely puts something in you that's like, I gotta just get to work and do some shit.
Yeah.
Like for real.
I'm like, I've been making this too hard because I was like looking around, I'm like, okay, that guy's doing it.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's man.
the one regret I
crazy.
have for the weekend is I didn't, I was so focused on doing stuff that we had to do with our partners, with E86 and with all, even with some of the stuff we were doing with Megan Featherston and getting stuff ready for the race. Obviously, taking care of Megan before the race and doing the 5K and all that stuff. I didn't really get a chance to hang out with any of the faster bastards that were there. They came out for the bagel run, but we had some amazing performances from the
Seriously.
team, and I just gotta tell you guys, I'm so proud of you guys, and it was so amazing to see what some of you guys were doing out there, like insane times, like Steve Monnier and Ben Adams looked like he was
Jogging.
jogging and having fun. And what did he end up running?
Like a 2:44.
Yeah,
It's
crazy.
high-fiving people.
Yeah, I was wondering about this because I saw, like a lot of our friends' times, and some people really blew up on it. So, but they all finished, which is amazing. Like, because some of them blew up at like mile 10 or things just went wrong from the start. And I'm like, the fact that you finished is nuts.
I think if you get there, you got to finish.
Yeah. But so I wondered, is that a thing particular to Boston or is it
finishing?
Yeah. Or not just finishing, but just like,
up.
It seemed like there was like two extremes. It was like
it definitely, from talking to people, it was you either talk to people and like I PR'd today, or you talk to people and like this was the hardest day I've ever had.
I think that's usually pretty true of all events, but specifically Boston because of the way the course is designed. Like you can have a phenomenal first half and then
your
get
heart
absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, your heart's got to be going nuts beforehand. Like the whole week, probably.
One of the things we talk about this on the other podcast, but the thing I took away from it is if I am going up there and running, I'm resting and not doing anything other than concentrating on the race. It's so tempting. There's so many brands up there. You're walking down the street and you see Kira D'Amato, you see Des Linden, you see, I saw Shalane Flanagan. I ran into the dudes from the NN team. If you're a fan of running, it's hard not to get swept up and all the stuff that's around the event. Like you're living in the like amazing time, but like if you got to tune that stuff out and concentrate on your race if you want to have a good day, because otherwise you can be on your feet too much. You're going to be talking to people too much.
Yeah, I could see that. And I bet just the overall state of the race could definitely
And they got good weather this year. And that was the thing that I thought was funny, because I feel bad for people who didn't have a good race because everybody's walking around going, oh, yeah, the perfect weather for it. And that's the thing.
We had some headwinds. It wasn't perfect.
I know. But when people are saying stuff like that, like I even felt like one person, when Megan did well. Oh, yeah, I'm not even going to tell you the person. I just remember who it was. I'll tell you off the record, Robbie. But they were like, Megan did really well. He goes, oh, she did really well. And he goes, well, she did have perfect weather for it.
Okay.
I'm like, dude, I said to him, I said, see me do that with the perfect weather.
Right.
Not going to happen. So, yeah.
The only other thing I'll say is about the finish line.
It was a Mr. McGill.
The finish line is, regardless, I feel like, of guys that were coming, and I say guys because it was mostly dudes around me. At the finish line, if they had a good race or a bad race, like everyone is congratulating everyone. And even though we're complete strangers, it's like we just both did something really hard and we just experienced that day together, even though we weren't together. And there's just like, I don't know, there's a camaraderie that's like instant.
I like how Megan says there's a lot of guys around me. You finished like top, 40 something American women, 60.
Yeah. So there was a lot of guys.
Yeah.
There's only a few other women ahead of you. And some of those were pros and already whisked off to like fantastic adventures.
The end of the women's race is insane because I was watching on TV.
It looked good.
Paid my $5 Peacock subscription for a month. So annoyed. I canceled it right after though. Usually I let that ride for another year.
Like, damn it.
Paid $60 to watch a Boston Marathon. But the end was nuts. Did you see the actual end of it?
I only saw
it. Highlights?
I only saw it like today. I watched it. And
they said they're best friends.
Really? Because they look like best enemies.
Yeah. Well,
I think when you get on the course, what was crazy about it is some of the angles on TV made it look closer than it was. Like,
it was close until the last 100 meters.
Right.
Well, I guess they
were like shuffling back and forth.
Yeah, where I was, it was that
it was
10th of a mile left.
It wasn't that close.
So it didn't look as close. But I love that. You know, she's a Chip. How do you say her name?
Chip. Yeah.
Well, it kept whipping her head around to see, like, is she on this side, on that side? Is she coming? Like, just the fact that you have to do that at the end of a 26-mile race is insane.
Yeah, I mean, well, and hold on. Not Chip, but Yeshina. I can't remember if that's exactly how you say her last name, but she so she almost went off course. Did you see that part?
Mm-mm.
Like with a quarter mile to go or so.
This is a course that hasn't changed.
I know, but this happened before. I think last year, maybe in the men's race. You're just supposed to follow the blue line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the lead motorcycles peel off on the last turn.
She followed him.
And she started following the motorcycles. So she probably went 10 feet out of her way. And then Chip Chair passed her on the inside. And she had to like catch up to her.
Oh, wow.
So it was like a little hitch that you never know.
There's one little crazy thing too about the course. Because, you know, you go through all these main streets in Boston or whatever, and people need to cross. They have volunteers that take arrow signs, and they like, so you'll be going to one side and then they'll move and you'll be going to this side. So like, you're like, they're like swapping runners throughout the whole end of the course.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's gotta be mess with your head.
Yeah.
But, anyways.
Adidas for the win though. On, I think, both.
Both. Yeah. Adios Pro 2.
Which I've heard news that the 3 is going to be totally different and is like an improvement. And the 4 is totally different than the 3 is a big improvement.
I mean, we weren't huge fans of the Adios Pro 2, but I could see if you're an excellent athlete, how apparently it works.
I did kind of, my time that I lost my love for the Pro 2 is when I did that long run down in Florida. And Megan and I were back there a week or so ago. And we had to run up on the street again because part of the trail was flooded that we were on. And I don't think I realized how cambered that road was.
Oh.
And 20 miles in that heat with a cambered road may have played into my... I kind of want to throw the shoes back on and go for a run in them just to see what it'll be. But I think right now I'm going to just try to work out in the SE trainer and you know.
So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for Boston. Anything else we forgot to cover?
I don't think so. I mean, unless you want to go do a shoe review.
There's probably some more stuff we forgot to cover. Yeah, the shoe we have is the brand black Kaiju. It is in the video the whole time. I don't know.
It is in the video. We'll talk about it another time. We've gone along a little long. We know you got other stuff to do, so we'll go over that. But if you're not familiar, you can check it out. We've got pictures and a written review of it already up on the site. So check that out, and then you can hear us blabber about it on the next podcast.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for following along for all the Boston stuff.
Yeah, and thanks to all of you who came out for the bagel run, and really appreciate it that you guys stopped up and, you know, said hello, introduced yourselves. That was great.
Yeah. So today's guest is Nico Montañez. He's an E86 pro athlete. He just
also ran the Boston Marathon.
Yeah. He finished, I believe, in like 2:19. I think it was 29th male overall. I think it was, don't hold me to that. That's off the top of my head. But honestly, this is like one of my favorite interviews that we've done.
Yep, I would agree.
And the first time Megan and I have done an interview together.
Is this the first time you guys did one together?
Yeah. Nico's awesome. He's got a great story, so I think you guys will enjoy this one.